Hello, hello. We're here. Woohoo. I had a couple little technical difficulties to getting my camera on last minute. I mean, done this a million times. Of course, tonight it's going to tell me that it's going to do something different. But yes, thank you for joining on. I know we said we have to be right on time. We are doing 20 cards. And this is in a thank you to you all who follow me on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube, I have 20,000 subscribers, actually close to 20,030 right now. But, this is a milestone. And I just can't believe it because this all just started July 27th, I think was the first video I posted in 2020. So in less than 4 years to have 20,000 subscribers, I think I'm going to cry. I can't believe it. And, I'm just so happy to see all of you here today. So I'm seeing a lot of my friends. I'm seeing some new names, new friends, Jane, Julia, Julie, Sandra, Elizabeth, Barbara. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming on. I just can't wait to do all the cards with you. So I knew we had to do 20 cards. We're doing 10 different ones. And I sort of have a time. I have it down to minutes here to make sure that I stay quite like on task here. So I hope you're ready to stamp along with me. Tell me, say if you're stamping along, say stamping along. If you are going to craft with me tonight, I'm going to move, just to let you know. I'm going to move it along. And oh, hi, Carol. Good to see you on. Yay. So I'm going to move. If you don't finish a card when I move on to the next one, then you can finish it later because this replay will be up there. And maybe you'll get to a point where all you have to do is add the sentiment. Well, you can do that later or do something for the inside. All right. So we are going to dive right in. Do you notice my shirt? My friend Elizabeth and teammate said I should wear my shirt. And she didn't mean for me to go topless, but she said, wear the shirt that matches with the stamp sets you're using. I had the most votes for the Mediterranean blooms with the lemons and the blues in there. So my shirt kind of matches. So here we are. I'm going to be using that tonight. And this is the way it's going to work. We are going to... I'm going to start with some simple cards. They're all going to be on the simple side. Obviously, if we're doing 20, they can't be too busy. So we're going to do 20 cards. We are going to, thanks, Elizabeth. We're going to work on the card, have a minute. I'll have a minute or two to switch gears and go on to the next card. At about just before 9 o'clock, we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll still chat, but we'll take a break from crafting, and then we can catch up for the last, about half hour or so. Okay, I think 20 cards in an hour and a half is going to be like a extravaganza, right? It's going to be great. So, oh, hi, Jackie, you made it. Good. Oh, I see a lot of my downline here. I see some customers here, and I see some followers. Thank you so much for joining on. If you're part of my Daisy team, write Daisy team in your comments, and please talk, interact, chat with each other, ask me some questions. I might not see all of your questions, but I will answer them later. YouTube, I can't go back and see all the comments, so I am going to try to watch. Facebook, I can. So whether you're watching from one or the other, just keep that in mind. I will see comments that you could add later on to YouTube. But anyway, let's get started. We're already 5 minutes late, but that's okay. We'll get going here. All right. So a lot of the cards I'm doing are based on cards that I've done before that are kind of simple, but we're going to kind of start easy and move along from there. So I'm going to switch my screen and we are going to get started here. So I asked you to cut 20 card bases out of white. Some of them will be colored, and we will be, I'll tell you some of those along the way, but most of them are going to be white, and we'll go from there. So this one's going to be super, super easy. I have my stack of white card bases. First of all, here's cheers to you. I have some iced tea here. I want to just say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being part of my world, for stamping and being able to let me share stamping with you. So cheers, everybody, and thank you so much for being here tonight. Okay, so, all right, so I always keep a bag of, a cello bag of white card bases. We are starting with a white card base here. Like I said, we're doing 2 of each. So the first one I'll do with you, and then if you want to tweak the next one a little bit, use different card stock or just change it in some way, that's fine. So we are going to do 3 squares that are 1 3/4 each. So I hope you chose a collection of DSP that you can work with. And I'm doing this along with you. So we're sort of real time here. And I did not do cards ahead of time. I just have my model from Retired Products. So we're going to move along at the same pace here. So just try to keep up, okay? So this card actually has some embossed lines that I did with a paper trimmer. So if you have your trimmer handy, please get that out. And we are going to open up the card to the card front. And we are going to score. We're going to turn it over. Let's say this is the card front. All right. So we're going to score at 1 1/4. At 3 1/2. And 3 3/4. Okay, so then now turn it inside out so your raised your mountains on those embossed lines are facing up. Okay, you can do the same thing on the other card. So again, that is 1 1/4, 3 1/2, and 3 3/4. If you want your squares to be different sizes, just add, just make the spacing accordingly. Okay. All right. So now we're going to put a sentiment down on the bottom. I like to do my sentiments first before I glue everything together because you know what that means. If you make a mistake, then you're kind of, then it's not so good. And so for this one, I want kind of a bold sentiment down at the bottom here. So I am going to use, for the most part, I'm using citrus blooms to go with the Mediterranean Blooms DSP. So that's my collection for the night. I'm going to do most of the cards with all of this. Okay, just like I told you to choose one. But I also chose this layering leaves, which I absolutely love because it has some very standard sentiments. I love the fonts and I love the leaves and the speckles. A lot of things for me to use here. So I chose this one for my more bolder fonts, and this one has more, delicate. So for this card, I want a little bit more bolder one. So, but you can do something delicate down there too. That certainly will work. So find something that will fit. I'm going to put sending hugs. I'm a hugger. Give me a thumbs up or hearts if you're a hugger. Tell me. I'm definitely a hugger. All right, if you're a hugger and I meet you the first time, we'll hug. It's okay. I'm good with that. Some people are very, understand, they like their space, whatever. It's all good. I'm going to do this in Night of Navy because my color palette is Night of Navy. I took out Old Olive, pumpkin pie, peach pie, pecan pie. I have all the pies tonight. Early espresso, you need coffee with your pie, right? And Old Olive, that doesn't hurt either to have some olives in there. So I'm going to do this with the navy and put that down on the bottom there. Sending hugs. If you wanted a different sentiment, you could do that too. But I'm just going to do the same one since I have it inked up. Okay, there we go. Clean off there. And so we have, you're a hugger. Oh, okay. Here's your hug, Sandra. Here's your hug, everybody. Wish I could hug you in person. Okay, yep, there we go. Gonna clean that off, put that away so I don't lose it. And so we have that with our embossed lines. Now we need 3 squares that are 1 3/4 each. All right, and on my sample card, I had 3 different patterns. The 2 outside ones were dark, the middle one was a little different. So just choose 3. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do some with the lemons. Maybe I'll kind of copy this. I'll do the middle one with the lemons, and then I'll do the darker ones on the outside. I'll use the daisies there. You know I love the daisies. All right, so this is 1 3/4. Except I'm doing it with you, so we're on the same time frame here. 1 3/4 square. So that's going to take the place of that. Did this one turn out to be square? Yeah, it's a little short. Okay, so I'll have to cut another one. 1 3/4. 1 3/4. And then that one's going to be the middle. And there's another print that's this navy blue that I'm going to pull out, which is, Joanne Hugger. I know we've hugged. Joanne and I have hugged. She's come to Cards for Troops, and it's all good. I love it. All right, so where is that other? I passed it. There it is. Okay, so just a different navy color there. So 1 3/4. 1 3/4. And then maybe my second one I'll do with the orange instead. Ooh, that could be fun. So I'll cut 2 of those while I'm at it for my second card. So these could be oranges or lemons. I've seen them look like peaches. So that's all good. So that's going to be my second card. And I'll just put that one in the middle there. So let me cut another one for the side for my first card. So for my first one, I have 3 different patterns. For this one, I'm going to have 2 of the outside ones the same, and then the inner one different. All right. Okay, so then we just put those, I'm just going to glue those in the middle of our embossed lines there. Okay, we're going to center them. I like to do the outside first because I will make sure the outer margins are equal to each other. And then the middle one will just get centered. When I went to Houston, we got to see, the Houston convention was called On Stage. We got to see new products. When I saw this, I just thought I just loved it because I love blue. And blue and yellow is just gorgeous. And we get prizes based on a number on our tag. And somebody who was volunteering said, I think the Mediterranean paper is one of the prizes. I'm like, please, please, please let me win that one. And I did. It was awesome. All right. So this paper can kind of go either way, but choose which direction you want that to go. I couldn't buy the stamp set until later, but I was able to. I had the paper. It was all fun, all good. Oh, this is different. Haha, let me remeasure that. Let's see. Ah, that's why. It wasn't 1 3/4. I saw something that was a little wrong there. These are a little tall. All right. We have Minnesota. We have Vermont. Bush, Mexico. Debbie, I'm so happy we got to meet. Debbie's been on many of my lives, and she's a demonstrator, and got to go with her upline to Mexico. And all of a sudden, someone runs up to me and said, "Lorraine," and gives me a hug before I could even see her name tag. I'm thinking, okay, this must be Debbie. And sure enough, it was. But, that's the thing with, with stepping up, and, we're all in this together. We're one big family. We'll just, we're all here, and we just enjoy each other's company and love what we do and share what we love. It's all good. All right, so how simple is this, guys? Just super, super easy. Switch up the colors. If you have pieces you're not sure what to do with, there you go. And with the glue, it's nice to be able to move things around so that it's straight. Right, so there's our original, and here are the 2 new ones, and we're going to put 3 little embellishments over there. The embellishments, I have them down. They went down to my bucket on the floor. Okay, these are Opal Rounds assortment. They match up with the colors, the yellow, white, and navy. So let's put their different ones here. I'm going to go with the navy using my pick tool. Pick that up. I'm going to put it here. 1, 2, 3. And maybe the other one we'll just mix it up. Let's do yellow, I suppose. No, there's no, I should put yellow on that one. All right, we're going with navy again, guys. Okay. Hey, if you're crafting along, tell me what collection. Well, let's go with the DSP. Tell me what DSP you're using. Okay, 2 quick and easy cards. Bam, we're done. All good, right? Isn't that fun? So classy, but simple, right? All right, 2 down. I have a little bit of color there. I want to get off with my eraser, adhesive eraser. All right, there we go. First 2 done. All right, next one. Oh, thank you, Linda. Okay, watching on YouTube now. Too stressful to try to stamp along. Okay, I got it, Michelle. All right, not a problem. The replay will be up here, and you can do it later. I know, I get it. It's like we're bum, 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 bum. I promised you 20 cards. We're doing 20 cards tonight. All right, next one is just, again, very simple, but really pretty way to do a card. We are taking a white base again, and we are going to just make a background mat, and we're going to use 4 strips of 3 of DSP and 1 white. So that's going to be our outside mat is going to be 3.5 by 4.5. So choose a DSP and a color that you want to do that with. Like I said, I'm along here with you. I didn't decide all this ahead of time. I just decided on the DSP and the stamp set, the collection. I didn't decide, oh, I'm going to do this color or this paper. I'm winging it like you. So we're sort of like in sync with our timing here. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I will try. There's a sheet in here that has both the lemons and the oranges. So maybe I'll try that one. All right, so our strips will be 1 inch by 3 inch. And then our mat is 3.5 by 4.5. Okay, and maybe I will go with pumpkin pie for that because that's what's here. I'll pick out pumpkin pie. That's 3.5 by 4.5. Maybe I'll do one with pumpkin pie and another one with garden green. All right, just to make them a little different. Will that be the right size? No, it's a little small. Looking at my scraps first. Okay, so I'll do one with garden green and I'll do one with pumpkin pie. We'll see how different they look. Similar, but a little bit different. All right, so the mat, 3.5 by 4.5. Okay, 3.5, 4.5. And I'll cut my pumpkin pie to the same. Oh, good. That's close to 3.5. So I'll go 4.5 this way. And 3.5 this way. That little piece, maybe we can put it inside. Huh, who knows? All right, so that's going to be on our card bases. Again, white card bases. I'll take out 2 and line them up. Remember the mountain score on the inside. Here's my bone folder. And that will go like that. Okay, so for each one, I need 3 pieces at 1 by 3. 1 by 3. So I'm just going to cut down 3 inches from this side here. Actually, there isn't up and down. No, there isn't. It's kind of every which way. All right, well, that's good. I see more. I'm just trying to get more variety. Maybe I'll just go down this way. 3 inches. If I'm doing 2 cards, then I will need 6 of these. So I'm going to start over at the 6 because it's just easier to cut this way. Then I'll go to 5, 4, 3. Hi, Joyce. Glad you got on. 2. Yeah, the eraser's great, right, Carol? Thank God for erasers. You have to use an eraser. But no matter what, you know, you can't help but get a little sticky here or there. Okay, so there we go. We have those bases. And then I will mix these up. So I have some yellow and some oranges. Okay, and where you put your sentiment strip doesn't matter. It could be here, it could be up there, it could be the top or the bottom. You can, you know, just cut a 1 inch by 3 inch sentiment strip as well. Now, I don't know about you, but I end up with, when I'm trimming down paper, I end up with a lot of 1/2 inch pieces, some 3/4 inch pieces, and some 1 inch pieces. So I just keep them in a little envelope here. There's 1 inch right there, so I don't even have to bother cutting those. Oh, excuse me, drop some paper. Just have to trim the length. We're good to go. So I need them 3 inches, just like my DSP strips. And then 3. And then find a sentiment that fits in there. Let's see, on one of them I think I'll use from the Citrus Blooms. Okay, it's small, but I think I'll do All the Love. And I'm going to do that in black because I want it to stand out. I inked up my black, my Memento black. All the love. What I love about sentiments like this, you don't have to worry about getting it straight. It could be a little off because the script is kind of random. It's all good, right? It's very forgiving. Very, very forgiving. All right. So we're going to put one of those there and one of those there. We're going to put that all together. And on this one, maybe I'll just put the sentiment, the third one down this time, and we can do a different one. Let me clean this off. So even if your chamois is black, folks, don't worry about it. It's only stained and it still works. I've had this one for a long time. I have a cleaner one too, but whatever. It's my still my go-to. And so maybe the other one I'll do a little bit bolder print, something from the Layering Leaves, maybe the thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, again, I like the black with this. Right, then we're just going to put that all together. Boop. All right. There we go. Close it up and just glue it all together, folks. Again, I like to do the outside ones first. Let me take it off the white just so we don't make a mistake. I'll get an idea of the spacing. Okay, there is a little more spacing on the outside than there is between, just because I liked having more of the DSP. If that makes sense. Okay, so then once you do the outside, you can center the middle too. Okay, Debbie's using Thoughtful Journey. I'm taking a minute to look up at your comments. Okay. All right, got people from Washington. Yeah, Becky. Oh, hello, Melinda. All right. I just love these bold colors. You know, I go back and forth. I always thought I was like a soft subtles kind of person, but I am liking the bright colors now. And you know what? If you want, you could pop that up with dimensionals. That's all good. So once you have the layout for a card, just tweak it a little bit. Okay, see, isn't that cute? That raising up just a little bit. Or you can put dimensionals on the back of this. So I'm going to glue this one down, but on the other card, I'll raise up the green layer just for something different. Mix it up a little. Again, kind of a clean and simple look. All right, this one we'll put together, and I'll glue everything straight down, but I'll raise up the green onto the white card base. So like I said, if you're stamping along, you know, do what you can. Don't get stressed. Just do what you can. You can always catch the replay later. finish up or add your sentiments later. Just, whatever. It's fun to stamp together. That kind of rhymes, right? Whatever. It's fun to stamp together. I love how this really is picking up the greens. Isn't it amazing how different it looks from one to the other? It was the same strip of paper, right? Yeah, this really highlights the greens. You would think to look at this, well, maybe it does have more, maybe not. It kind of has the same amount of green, right? It just pops differently, right? Okay, so that will go there. Then we'll put dimensionals on the back of this. I always say, Rain, you don't have to use as many dimensionals, like on a back like this. But then I can't help myself. I tend to say, oh, but I want those edges supported. So then I put 8, and I say, oh, I don't want the middle to sag. I always end up putting 9. As much as I say, you probably don't need 9, but I can't help it. I don't like it sagging or looking crooked. Oh, thank you. I love this paper too. And to be honest, this is actually the first time I'm using the stamps. I know I've only used the sentiment for you so far tonight, but I just mounted these today. I didn't use the stamps yet. I've used the paper a little bit. Well, I had that first, obviously, right? All right, so you have that there. If you wanted to add embellishments, you certainly could. And here are just some other samples with retired products that I've done. Simple black and white on a colored base. And so there you go. Nice and easy, simple cards. You can even put 3 of the same DSP and maybe a label on there. Make it a simple note card as well. So, all right. I'll put those aside. 4 down. All right, I'm going to keep organized here because typically I could just start tossing things off to the side and before you know it, I'm looking for something. I said, all right, where did that go? All right. So I have a bin here of the cards, so I'm taking from the front and putting the ones I've just done in the back. So I'm all good to go. This one is, again, a very simple layout, but I because I started doing it with these types of papers that look like oil paintings, I call this kind of like my art gallery because it just reminds me of how works of art might be framed and then you have a little title underneath. So this again is a very simple type of layout. You can emboss the back. This is the painted texture on these. These I've done a long time ago. And this one has Tasteful Textile, which some of you know is my all-time favorite embossing folder. It just gave a little bit of texture without being overwhelming. So we're going to copy this layout for our next card. And we are going to then, so a lot of these, the ones that I've done here have a colored card base. So you're going to take one of your pieces of colored cardstock this time. And the only white we're going to use is down here. All right, so this one's going to have a colored base. So you have an extra white colored base. So let's see. I would like to choose something that has a nice, pretty focal point because we want something just colorful and big right there to be that focal point there. Actually, the one that I just used would be very colorful, wouldn't it? To have both of those. I cut a section that has both the orange and the lemon. I could do that. I like the combination of the colors that I could use the orange and the lemon or green on here too, right? Okay, so pick what you want for your focal point. Pick what you want for your background colors. I think I'm going to do garden green for my base. So you need 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's 8.5. Cut it up. This is not a full sheet, so I'm going to use that up. Scored at 4 1/4. So you need a colored card base. And then I will use, I think, the lemon lolly for the next layer. We're not going to emboss it. We're just going to keep it more simple tonight. I love the lemon lolly. It is just such a soft yellow. Here it is compared to the Daffodil Delight, which I love too, but it is just such a very soft, subtle yellow. I love that. Okay, so that is your standard layer. That's going to be 4 by 5 1/4. I'm measuring 5 1/4, then I'm doing 4 this way. All right, and you know what? Let's try one just the opposite. Let's try one with lemon lolly. So that's 5.5. We'll just flip it for something different, and then score that. Like I said, once you have your layout, then you can just make little changes, little tweaks to vary the card idea. All right, so we want 4 for the layer by 5 1/4. So it'll just be opposite. We'll see how that goes. Don't know till you try it, and then if you don't like it, then just don't glue it down yet and make your changes, okay? All right, so then once you have that, then your next layer in is going to be the same as your card base. So we're going to need a piece at 2 1/4 by 4 for here. So I need the garden green, 2 1/4 by 4. This looks close. All right, there's by 4. Two 1/4. If you're watching the replay, then you can certainly stop it and say, okay, what did she say? Or what was that measurement again? Okay, 2 1/4 by 4. That looks really, no, that's not right. Oh, 2 3/4. Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. 2 3/4 by 4. I thought that looked skinny. 2 3/4 by 4. Luckily, that little piece will not go to waste. It will get used. That's going to be the layer there. And then on this one, we want the lemon lolly, 2 3/4 by 4. Hey, Judy, you have Unbounded Beauty. I know you wanted me to use that one tonight, but more people were asking for the Mediterranean Bloom, so that's what I went with. But they're all so pretty. They really are. Just gorgeous. All right, so now we have our basic layers here, and then we have to cut our designer paper and the white. So the designer paper is going to be 2.5 square. This is 2.5 square here. So I'm just going to cut 2.5 this way. And I don't know, we'll just see what happens. We'll see what works best. I like both of those colors on there. All right, so wait a minute, DSP, 2.5. 2.5, just double checking. Okay, check twice before you cut, right? 2.5. So one's going to be more orange, one's going to be more yellow. Just because I don't want to, well, this one will have both. 2.5 square. There we go. So that will be like that. And then our white piece is going to be 2.5 by 1.25. So again, I go to my scraps. Plenty of those, certainly in white. Okay, 2.5 by 1.25 because it's going to be the same width as this. All right, so since I need 2 at 1.25, I'm going to go to 2.5. And then I'll cut that in half, but I want it to be 2.5 wide also. All right, so now I'll cut it to 1.25. And then I have 2. Ta-da! There we go. All right, now our sentiment will go on there. I like a very simple sentiment because the focal point is more colorful, and I just like this one to have a very simple look to it. So all of these that I've done, I use a very simple sentiment, and then we're going to put a ribbon across there. All right, so let's look at, I could do all the love again, and I could do just checking in. So maybe I'll do one of each. Here's just checking in. Sometimes you just want to touch base with somebody, right? And this time, I think I'm going to use early espresso because that's the brown that's in there. You want a dark color for it to show up, especially if it's a very narrow sentiment. Be careful when you have your very narrow sentiments that you don't rock it. Yay. Woohoo. All right. And then I'll do all the love on the other one. Let's see, you can mix it up a little bit. Oh man, I got that edge there. Flip it over. I don't like that rough edge there. My trimmer needs a new blade, I think. So I'm just going to push that down with my bone folder so it looks a little nicer. Okay. Tap, tap, tap. Much better. All right. Okay. Close up the ink. And then we put it together. So let's take our little piece here. There's going to be a little bit of a border. And these two are going to, you can either butt it up right up against each other. And then you will have the same amount of border on the top and the bottom. Or if you want, I'm going to do it 2 ways so that you can see. You can have it leave a little bit of a space in between, but then it's going to be a little bit more narrow on top and bottom. So I am going to leave a space on this one, but not on that one. All right, just so we can see the difference. And there's nothing wrong with making the same exact card over and over because they're going to go to different people, right? You're not going to send the same card to everybody. Oh, that's going to be a little closer to the top. This one's going to go a little closer to the bottom. Oh, man. I have a jar for my dimensional backs. I also have a little jar for I keep my glue in. And once in a while, I put the glue in the dimensional and then it gets all sticky. They all go on top of the glue. That pulls right off. Okay. And there's just a little bit of curled edges there. I'm going to flatten it with my bone folder. All right, and now's the time you want to put a ribbon on. So a ribbon or twine, whatever you like. So for this one, I'm going to use some crumb cake baker's twine. And I'm just going to tie a simple knot, do a knot or a bow. I'm going to wrap it around twice just to give it a little bit more bulk. Let's see, do I have enough for a bow? I better make it a little bit longer. Okay, so with the twine, it's kind of like it was meant to go in that little gap. And if you want it to go in the same direction, make your loop with your right hand and go clockwise around. And it will go parallel to, if you grab your fingers there, it will go parallel to the initial wrap that you did. So with the bottom part, I make the loop. My left hand, I go clockwise because clockwise is kind of like the right direction, so to speak. If you go counterclockwise, it's going to go opposite. So it will be a vertical bow. I just think that looks so sweet there. Right, then we'll put this all together here. Again, you can emboss this piece, but just for tonight, we are keeping it simple. You have the basic card layout. You can always choose to kick it up a notch. And it does have just a nice clean look to that. Anyway, I'm going to put this up with dimensionals. Okay, this one I will only do 6 because it's not quite as wide. Oh, we have Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl from Nebraska. Nice to see you on. Joan is doing cupcakes. Nice. Okay, so often I like texture on the back, but because this is just so bold, I kind of like, I don't mind it being plain on this one particularly. All right, so we'll just put this one together the same way. We'll use a little bit different ribbon on there just so you can see a different idea. I'm going to make sure the lemons are hanging in a good way. And this one I'm going to butt right up against. And I can't wait to see what you all are doing, whether you're doing it live or watching the replay. Please post some of your own samples, the cards that you do. All right, I'm going to use, let's do something fancier. Let's do this edged ribbon to put a little bit of bling on there. And this I'm just going to do a knot. Doesn't always have to be a bow. And add just a little shine. So one, you have that more natural look with the baker's twine, and this one will be a little more fancy. All right, then I'm going to show you my trick here. All right, so first of all, it looks like my ribbon ends are going this way, so I'm just going to slide that off and turn it around. I want them hanging down, not up. I trim my ends. And now I don't like how loose it is, so I want that to be a little tighter. So this is what I'm going to do. There is a little play in here. So I'm going to take some tape, some cellophane tape. I'm going to snip this, make it tighter, and hold that down with some cellophane tape. Right? Now it's not loose at all. And I could put a little glue dot on the back there. When it's a small knot, I like to just roll it with my fingers and then stick it under there. And that way it stays straight. Look how pretty that is. Oh, looks so nice and soft. And then we'll put that all together. If you wanted to have a little something else on there, you could put some little speckles around. So let's try that. I'm going to take little speckles from the layering leaves. And I'm going to do tone on tone. So I'm going to get some lemon lolly and go around the edge with that. Where's my lemon lolly? Lemon lolly, where are you? There it is. It's so light I could hardly see it. All right, so let me see. Because it is yellow, I'm not going to do any stamping off because it's very light. If it were a darker color on a light paper, you might want to stamp off first and then have not such a strong speckly look to it. I'm not going to bother with the middle too much because it's going to be covered. All right, dimensionals again. I think we're going to go through a whole thing of dimensionals tonight. Oh, okay. All right. Any questions from anybody? Looks like a frame. All right. Yeah. You're right, Carol. All right. So we have. Oh, come on. If you have trouble getting the back off, stick your fingernail in there and it pushes the edge off and it's easier to grab. Did you know that trick? Some people like to use their pick tool to pick it off with. That works too. Okay, so that, I don't know if you could see that, but there is little light speckle there, so it just doesn't look quite so plain. And there, so you have the same DSP, just slightly set off with the different colors. Pretty, right? I love it. I just love these. Oh my gosh. So pretty with either the blues and greens or the yellow yellow and green. So nice. All right. So there we go. We've got 6 cards down. We've got a lot to go yet. Hope you're hanging in there. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that. All right. What stamp sets or DSP, what products have you all really taken a liking to in the new catalog? Has anybody really latched on to something? Okay, while you might be typing, I'm going to just show you some of the other similar layouts for these cards. Okay, just having that little piece in the middle. Okay, this one has, I embossed the background and put this saying on with a label. And then these were die cut and put on there. So just to kick it up a notch. This one had, instead of embossing, has a stamped background. And there's that rectangular focal point. That's about the same. And then this was another one that wasn't centered, just pushed to the side. And then the sentiment down there. I just think that's a real classy look there. That could even be a masculine card. All right. So if you're watching the replay or whatever, you could take a screenshot and kind of be reminded of what all those cards look like. Okay. So moving right along. Love the wood DSP. That is, it's called Country Woods. Country Woods. It is very, very nice. It's got all different color wood. I just, look, love that. Makes great backgrounds for so many different cards. You know, a weathered look there. Yeah, that's a good go-to for a lot of things. Love it. All right, next one. Again, we are going to be taking your white card base. Okay, we're keeping it simple. So this way, I told you, if you have your card bases all ready to go, it will go quicker tonight. Okay, so we have the card base, and we are going to do a simple square. If your stamp set uses black line or has some black in it, I recommend using a black outline to really make it stand out. It really gives a nice outline to it. And then this horizontal strip can be either DSP or cardstock. And this one happens to be stamped with a little bit of the grapes that I had here, the grapes and the leaves, just tone on tone. So you have options here. So go with whatever you feel like you want to do right now, but this is going to be the basic layout. So we have on this one, your layer is going to be, you're going to have your white card base, right? You're just going to have another white layer. Again, if you wanted to emboss that, you could certainly do it. Again, I keep a cello bag of my white. I wrote quarter size on there. They're not really exactly quarter, but close enough. You know, that tells me what it is. So that's going to be my next layer. And you could do this either direction, but I'm doing this one horizontally. And then we're going to use a strip. I'm actually going to use a designer's paper strip on this one. And I think I will use, let me see what I have scraps of already. Well, you know what? I'm going to use this one here. Nope, that's not quite long enough. I want it to be the full length. So I'll just cut another piece. It's okay. So this is a card that you can do any width that you want here. You want the length to be the length of your layer. So that's 5 1/4. You can make this as wide or as narrow as you want. I wouldn't go less than 1 inch, but you can do it wider. This is another example where I did an embossed strip underneath here. And actually, I didn't even put an extra layer on this one. It's just on the card base. So you can see what it looks like wide. And this one's a little bit more narrow. So this one is probably closer to 1.5 inches or 1 3/4, something about 1.5 inches. So either way, whatever, sometimes your stamp image will dictate how much of a background you want. Because this was subtly embossed, I think it works better wide. If it were this, you might not want it quite so wide because it is so dark. You might want it more subtle. So decide what you want for there. Here's another example just using designer series paper. So instead of stamping an image, I used just a random piece of designer paper and then put a label over it. So these don't even have a sentiment on the front. They're just note cards that I could write for any occasion. If you wanted to, you could stamp a little something down in the corner, but that's totally up to you. I'm going to cut 1 inch by 5 1/4 for my strip to go across. And what I like about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, I have up to 1.5 inches on the right side of the cutting channel. So it's easier for me to cut this way. So there's my 1 inch by 5 1/4. What's on the other side? Okay, so maybe I'll just use the other side of that. Can't be easier, right? For my next card. Let's see how that goes. Kind of mix it up a little bit. So I like to lay it all out before I glue everything down. Here's my other white. All right, and where's the little cap here of my all my papers? Where's my? Oh, here we go. I lost my layers. I had those layers all ready to go, and now they're clapped somewhere. Oh well, I just have to cut a new one. Okay, 4 by 5 1/4. Luckily, I made extra. My card basis, I just cut that down. All right. Oh, hi from the Netherlands. Woohoo! I guess this is a decent time, right? Not too bad for people in that vicinity there. All right, so I'm going to use just the flip side of that. We'll see how we can line that up. And so because my Citrus Blooms images are quite big, bigger than these little images were, you can still cut your white pieces and then stamp over it and just capture part of your image. You don't have to have something that fits right in that little space. So let's see the sizes that we want. We want, oh, I gotta put these other cards back. Don't take anything. We want our, like I said, the strip is 1 by 5 1/4. The white part is 2 3/4 square. But again, you can make it whatever you want, whatever you think fits your paper, your image that you're stamping, or use designer paper on it. That's okay too. So 2 3/4, right? 2 3/4 square. Okay, I'll get 2 out of this scrap here. And then you want your layer, whether it's black or another color, maybe on this one I'll use navy, this one I'll use black. You want that to be just 1/4 inch more. So it's going to be 3 by 3. Let's see, is this one 3? No, that's 2 3/4. Okay, this is. Oops. First I'll cut 6, then I'll cut 3, and then I have that in half, gives me 2 3s, and I'll save that one for my next time, and I'll do this one in navy. Right, so I just like the contrast that we see right there. And next one, I need a navy. Navy. Can I not put that in a navy? All right. Well, excuse me 1 second. I get navy. Oh, I did. Yeah, I got it. It's in the back. It looked like black to me. Okay, it's all good. All right, so 3 by 3. And 3. All right, so like I said, laying it out first. All right, and if your image is bigger, you can just take that piece and just kind of stamp over it. I'm going to take a scrap piece of messy sheet of paper here so I don't dirty my my good grid paper here. So I'm going to take this large Okay, well, that can actually kind of fit on there, so that's okay. Even if it's a large stamp, you can still get that on there. Hello, are you still there? I hope you're still there. My computer wasn't plugged in and the battery was dying. I'm sorry. Hope you're still there. Okay, hang on, guys. Okay, yeah. All right. Phew. All righty. So, meanwhile, while I was in the dark for a minute, I stamped this on the small piece, even though it overhangs. It's okay. And then I'm going to take my stamping blends and color that in. Now, you have to be careful because the stamping blends will bleed through the paper, so you don't want it to be on anything underneath there. So I am going to just color one of them for today because this does take a while. So I'm using Old Olive. I'm going to take my dark Old Olive. I'm going to take the hard tip and just go across the veins of the leaves because I want them to show up a little darker. And you don't have to be too meticulous because it's going to just give you some shading. Once you feel a little confident with the blends, you don't have to, you feel like you don't have to be quite so meticulous. I think it's all good. So then I'll go over that with the light and it will just blend in together. And then once I color that all in, I might go back and add some shading where I think there might be some darker shadows to this. Things that might be closer to other flowers or the fruit, where something might be overhanging, like down here. I might want that a little bit darker, maybe close to, I'll make this an orange. Well, it is an orange. Okay, so maybe a little bit down here, maybe along the edge of this leaf here that's overlapping the other one. I'm going to color in these. I think they're called sepals. I think I learned that they're sepals, the little thing that holds the buds. Right? Am I right? Does anybody know that? Yeah. Yeah, that's one nice thing about the Stampin' Up! Papers, guys. Both sides are gorgeous. It's a nice thing, but it's a bad thing because you hate not using the other side. You have to make a decision sometimes. All right, so then we're going to do pumpkin pie and peach pie for the orange. I'm going to take my dark and I'm going to just take that firm edge. I'm going to go over those speckles a little bit. And I'm going to do those little lines up here. So I'm not going to do both of these right now because that's going to take up too much time, but you'll get the idea. Okay, then I'm going to do my lighter color. I'm going to go to the peach pie. And I'm going to start with a lighter one. Oh, is that the light? No, it's a dark. I didn't put my labels on these yet, so it's hard to see. Where is it? For dark. Yeah, okay, with the lighter one. There we go. And you can see that the darker pumpkin still shows up. I'm going to do lines, curved lines like the orange actually is. Okay, so that's kind of light there. Now I'm going to fill in. Now the front of the orange is more forward, so that's going to look like it has a little bit more light to it. So I'm going to work the edges a little bit, make them a little darker with the darker peach pie, and in the corners, nooks and crannies where those leaves are there, I'm going to make those just a little bit darker and leave some of those rounded edges as if there's highlights on there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back with the darker one and maybe bring in just a little bit more shadowing. Because you don't have to think about it too much, all right? You get those light and dark things. I'm going to go with the lemon lolly for the flowers. Let's see, it's a light enough color. I'm just going to use the dark lemon lolly. I like to do my darker colors last because if I did the espresso, or I'm going to use pecan pie for the stems and my lemon lolly went over it, I don't want it to get on my marker. So I like to do the darker colors last. I'm using the dark pecan pie for the stems. And ta-da, she is done. Okay, we put that there. And like I said, if people, I wonder which way I should do it, this way, that way, I guess, right? I'll put a little bit of the sentiment down there because we have a small one on the stamp set. We have hello. And I'll do that in Night of Navy. Okay. Yeah. Make sure my edge isn't messed up. Ta-da! Yay! All right, so if I had an easier thing to just stamp, I could do that more quickly, or I could do these ahead of time. Sometimes I like to just do my coloring in front of the TV, or if I'm on the phone chatting with somebody. I will glue this strip down. You think about where you want that versus this. And we'll glue this down to the card base. Whoop. I'm going to put that on dimensionals. They're all simple cards tonight, guys. We're just whipping out a whole stack here. I'll put 5 here, 1 in the middle. If I had a more solid image stamp, then I wouldn't have to do all that coloring. But the coloring is pretty, right? Okay, and let's put some bling on there. We have a lot of blue, so I'm going to use these iridescent ones. Use the big ones. We'll put 1 here and maybe 2 little ones here. and here. Really pretty. All right, so there we go, adding just that little bit of bling. Nice, right? So the next one will have the orange strip going across, a black base, and here's what it looks like on black. I had it right here. Oh, here we go. It's smaller, but I was just experimenting. So there's what it looks like with the black base. So really pretty too. I took the bigger stamp, and even though it goes off of it and doesn't catch the entire leaf or entire fruit, it's still so nice. It would kind of go on there. All right. In fact, I don't mind so much as black on black. That's kind of an interesting look, especially if this were raised up with dimensionals. Oh, I see I left a little bit of the leaf there. Okay, so anyway, so that will be the next one. All right, so there we go. We've got that. All right, moving right along. Moving right along. I watched Muppets Take Manhattan last night. Speaking about moving right along, that's one of the Muppet songs, right? Footloose and fancy free. Okay, next one. This one's really easy to do as well. I've done several of this design in the past, and it is taking just, again, white on white, but then we're putting a strip of designer series paper across, wrapping it around the smaller white piece on top, and just laying it flat against this one. The white piece is raised up. So we have that with a focal point of some kind, whether it's a leaf, a flower, fruit. Okay, this is the only one that's current right now, the Cheerful Daisies. And instead of stamping on the white, keeping it simple, I pumped it up a bunch and I added a label from the, it was a double oval punch, which I love. It's retired now. But so this is the idea here. I'll give you the measurements. We'll get going on that. Okay, so for this one, we need that card base again, and you want your you need a white layer that's 3 by 4 1/4. All right, 3 by 4 1/4 is that middle piece. I'm just going to cut this down. Okay, so that's 4. So I got a 4 1/4 this way. 3. And I'll do another one. 4 1/4 by 3. Okay, so we have our 1-inch strips, right? You always end up with 1 inches, it seems. So those can certainly be a sentiment stamp some other time. All right, then our DSP, we need for each card, we need 2 at 2 by 4 1/4. So I will choose 2 different ones. Let's see if there's something we haven't used. Maybe we can do something in the blue tile. I wonder if that will be too busy. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, 2 by 4 1/4. So you can cut a 2-inch strip, and you can certainly get 2 at 4 1/4, 4 1/4. Okay, so we have our card bases. Okay, mountain side in. And that's my dimensionals. How about that? All right, so one of these pieces is going to go across. And then the other piece is going to match up with that and go across, but it's going to wrap around the white piece that we have here. So I'm going to kind of get an idea where I want that to be. I want this white piece to be centered, although it doesn't have to be. You can offset it somehow if you like. And I'm going to use my grid paper to try to center that. So I'm going to measure this at 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 because there's 0 in the middle. And then I'm going to, for this piece, I'm going to center it. Since it's 2 inches, I'm going to line it up to 1 1 over here. So I know where to glue it down in the center. One and one, and line it up with corresponding lines on the other side. All right. And then I'll do a similar thing with this piece. This one will go to 2 1/8. So it's in between the dotted grid lines on my paper. And I'm going to center this again at 1 1. And I'm going to have it overhang so then I could wrap it around. I didn't, when I first did this card, I didn't want it to be just laying on top because I didn't like to see the layers exposed on the side because this is going to get popped up with dimensionals. And I do like to just fold it over as opposed to scoring it. I have to score it ahead of time, but then you can burnish those lines. Because it just completes that wrapped look. You know, when you see it from the side, you're going to see this around the edge, so you're not going to see the edges hanging out there. And I got a little glue on here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's going to go on there, and we're going to stamp across there. I'm going to take that very simple, just checking in. And we'll do that in navy. A lot of people just want to send a card to and say, hey, how you doing? Somebody that I haven't spoken to in a while, maybe. And again, you might have wanted to do this before you put your paper on, just in case you make a mistake. And shoo, it's all good. Worked out fine. And I'm going to put that on with dimensionals. Four, 5, 6. Hi, Karen, you made it on Arizona time. Okay. How's the glamping doing? My friend Karen was on a camping trip in her 5th wheel, so not too rugged, but having fun, I hope. I hope. Nice to see you on. Okay, so it's nice to see that extra layer. And like I said, you don't see the edges because it's wrapped around. So then you just need your focal point on there. So again, because I only have the oranges or lemons there, I might choose to take one of my pieces here, and I can always fussy cut around one of those. Actually, I do have dies that go with it, but just to kind of give you a quick, easy idea what it's going to be like. I don't want to take the time to do the die cut. I will finish it all up later. But I could trim that down a little bit because that's a bit much. So I think I will fussy cut around like this because I'm not going to finish it. Anyway, something along these lines here. And I will have that hanging down on there. And that looks really pretty with that tile in the background, right? Actually, I snipped this a little bit, so I think I will just cut that flower off the top there. And I will fussy cut a little bit more, maybe just have that hanging from the side. So it looks pretty, right? All right, so again, because we're getting a little close on time, I'm not going to do the second card, but you can tweak it as you like. All right, I will do another version of that card a little later and show you them all on a Facebook post. All right, so all right, so I have just a few more really quick ones to do with you. They're not going to take long, so if you can hang on just a little while or come back and watch the replay, I certainly understand if it's getting late or long for you. But here we are, and I do appreciate all of you coming on here. I am going to do a quick door prize drawing right now. I am going to just randomly move my comments up and down. I'm going to close my eyes, and where I end up is somebody's going to have a door prize of some DSP. I will contact you, or you give me your information, and you will get to pick a DSP. And I have, where's my cursor? Oh, okay. I have Linda Zabel. Linda Zabel. So I don't think I have your contact information, Linda. I'm going to write down your name. Email me your contact information. So that would be your address and phone number. And obviously, I'll have your email if you email me, right? So then I will give you some choices of some DSP that you can choose from. I have some leftover things from retired, some Christmas, some celebrations, some things that retired from the catalog, and I will be happy to give you a gift of that. Okay, so thank you so much for joining on. All right, so Linda Zabel. All right, I'll do another door prize in a little while. Okay. Thanks for hopping on live. All right, door prizes are just for people who are on live right now. Okay. All right, so let's move along. Our next one is going to be, we're going to take your card base. We're going to go horizontal again. And this one, again, is just DSP and a sentiment stamp. So we will have, this is my sample. Some of you might have seen a layout like this that we've done before. We're going to take two colors. This one I love, it was in black and white so that you could put any color behind it. And then I had the basic gray in the background too to pick up on some of the lighter black or gray tones in there. So whatever your DSP colors are, try to find some colors that will work for that. And you need two colors. The darker one in the back, or whatever you choose, the one in the back is going to be 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. Right, 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. So find, this one has 4 different patterns, 2 light and 2 dark. So you can maybe, some of these might have been the flip side of one of the DSP designs. So what I'm going to try to find, some that have a small enough pattern to one of them. See, like these don't have such big fruit to them, and the other side is kind of small as well. So we're going to start off with rectangles. So those rectangles, we need to be 1 3/4. So let's pick out the rectangles first, and then you can match your cardstock to that. 1 3/4 by 3 1/8. All right, so this just happens to be 1 3/4. So that's good. 1 3/4 by 3 1/8. Let me get my cutter here. Three and 1/8. All right, so I'm going to have some blue and I'm going to have some orange and green. And then let's see what I want my others to be. If you want, you can do just 2 and 2 of the same ones. If you want to try that, that's okay too. Let's find another piece that has kind of a small pattern. Maybe the one with the daisies on it. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's kind of big. Yeah, I think we could do the daisies. All right, yep, so I'll do the daisies. So one with the navy and the oranges and one with the navy and the daisies with the lemons. All right, so again, that's 1 3/4 by 3 1/8. Then once you have your DSP picked out, you can decide which layers you want to use. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to cut those on diagonals, and we're going to flip some over. If you don't like the color combination, just cut other rectangles and cut them and arrange them in a way that you like. So I'm going to cut these. If I'm holding it this, I'm going to cut from the top left to the bottom right. I line that point up in the gutter of in the track of my paper trimmer here. And I always start in the middle when I'm cutting something on an angle. I don't want to come down onto that point and compromise the sharpness of that corner. I like to keep it nice and sharp. So I'm going to do the same thing, the same direction here, although this can go maybe this way, but it's random enough. It can go any direction, I think. So starting in the middle, I don't want to smush those corners. Okay, so then I'm going to take those off and put them, I'm going to see how I want them arranged here. So they're like that. I'm going to, if I wanted, I could just kind of do something like that. If you want to mix them up that way. But you can flip these over and use them in different ways, right? So, oh, did I do that wrong? I think I might have had to go the other way. Hold on there, guys. All right, yep. I thought I cut this the right way. Never mind. Oh, here we go. Maybe, nope, I don't like that combination. That's too much of the same there. So you might want to just kind of play around with it a little bit and see how you wanted them. I would probably cut a little bit. That's 1 1/4. Cut it in the opposite direction. 3 1/8, I said. So top right to bottom left. Okay, so now I can use the backs in different ways, right? And then if I cut the other blue one, I could match up like that. Or you can mix and match them in different ways. So with this, I would probably do blue and yellow for the backgrounds, right? So I would take the blue is going to be 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. No, wait. Yes, look at the wrong thing. 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then the next layer is going to be 4 by 3 1/4. So I will do that in the lemon lolly. Hey, we've got a lot of cards here, guys. Okay, thanks for hanging in there. So we have 4 by 3 1/2. Okay. All right, so tomorrow, free shipping for Stampin' Up. If you have a $75 order or more, Stampin' Up is going to give you free shipping. They do that every once in a while. We don't have too much notice ahead of time when it's going to happen, but I let you know as soon as I find out, so that you can plan, because I'd hate for you to put in an order a day before, that happens. So it's tomorrow. And also my offer is for a $50 order, by the end of tomorrow night, will get you a free gift of some designer series paper as well. All right. So, all right, just again, to save a little time, I am just going to kind of show you this little layout here. And I would change this one to, this pattern that I had here, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Or maybe I would put the fruit together and the others on the other way. I don't know. I'll work it out. I'll mess around with it. But those colors look pretty together, right? And then just across the side, you can put a little sentiment. So I did my labels ahead of time, and I cut out a whole bunch from the Unbounded Beauty with the labels that we have there. And I would put a little label right across there like that. And I just think that is so sweet and so pretty. All right, so there we go. That's that card. And I will put that over here. Hopefully the pieces don't get lost. Hopefully not. All right. Just 3 or 4 more, and then we'll be done. And you have 20 cards you can mess around with. Okay. You'll be busy. So the next one, this is super easy. We are just simply going to take a colored card base. In this case, I did black because there's a lot of black in here, so I wanted that to be my base color. And so I thought maybe we can try this with navy again, because that's just a nice dark color for the DSP to show up on. So 5 1/2. Score at 4 1/4. Okay, mountainsides in. All right, so that's our base. And then we're going to take a subtle print and a more bold print. Let's see. Hope you're not tired of lemons or oranges right now. But these are just so pretty. So pretty. Okay. More subtle and then a more bold one. Let's just go with let's go with just the lemons this time. Gotta match my shirt. And for the background, we will do, I think, this one again. So it's going to look like this. All right. So we want just your standard layer for your card base, 4 by 5 1/4. See, I'm thrilled. I'm getting a lot of cards out of this too. This is great. Now, when I was putting this card together, I was thinking, all right, well, Lorraine, this doesn't have to go all the way across because it's not seen. But when I was playing around with it, because the designer paper on top is kind of thin, I could notice a little bit of the edge here. So I put it all the way across. This is going to be a full layer, and then we're going to put this on top of it. So you can decide what works for you. I'm just going to use the whole sheet. I don't like to be wasteful, but I didn't like seeing that little bump of the edge of the paper in there. You know what I mean? All right. So then this next one is also going to be 5 1/4 tall, but it's going to be 2 1/2. Cut it at 2 1/2, because then we're going to tear the edge. 2.5 by 5.25. Now, if you don't like tearing, you can just leave it just like that. That looks beautiful as it is, right? But just for something different, when you tear, pull upwards, because the whole idea of tearing is to get a ragged look on the edge. So you want to pull upward so that you get that look of the white inside of the paper, and it gives it just that little bit more dimension. Now, if you pull it backwards, it's just going to look like a torn edge, which is okay, but you're not going to see that layering of the paper, so to speak. So just for a different kind of look, tear it in different ways. And you can choose if you want it to go all the way to the edge or if you want to leave a little border. You can go either way. I'll leave just a little border just so it's different from the model I showed you. And we'll put that, glue that down. And here we go. One thing with some of these geometric patterns, I can see that I'm straight because of that pattern on the line there. So I'm lining it up right there. All right, so that works. All right, so then if you want, you can just put a sentiment on here. What I did on this one, because it was light, I stamped my sentiment down here. And then I put an image on there and I triple layered it. I went again with black. So what I could do, I'm going to take my labels, because I can't stamp on this, it's too dark. But just wanted to show you some options here. I am going to take one of my labels here, and maybe I'll take this scallop one and put it there, because I die cut a whole bunch of them out today so that they're sort of ready to go. And that can be just pretty as it is. We stamp a sentiment on there. Let's do, you're the best kind of person. That works nicely right in that oval. That's too small. And I'll do that in Night of Navy. Okay, otherwise, decide on what your image looks like. For instance, if I didn't have these, I cut this to fit the 3 flowers. If I wanted only 2 flowers, or if my image was something smaller, I would just cut that smaller and make my 2 layers a 1/4 inch bigger. If your image is bigger, then this section could be bigger. So whatever image you have, you can just tweak those sizes to fit your image. So it's all about being flexible. Not everything has to be, this has to be, what did I say it was? The black mat was 2 3/4 by 2. It doesn't have to be that size. If your image that you want to put on there doesn't fit, then you're just going to want to tweak that, right? So I'm just going to put that right on there, and you've got a beautiful, sweet little card. Let's add some twine to that. I'm going to take this baker's twine again, and I'm going to just wrap it around my fingers a little bit, a few times. And we're going to just put it kind of in the back there as a little clump. Good way to do that is with dimensional dots. Because they mold right over the thickness of the twine. And then I could peel the backs of those, and it will help hold my label. I'll put more on the other side. Okay, so one there, and there. Okay, then we have that little bit of rustic look there. Then we could put some embellishments on there. Let me get my tool, and I think I'll just do the iridescent ones again. Maybe one there. A big one down here, and another small one right there. So those iridescent really pick up on some of the color. Right, again, only just doing one of those. I want to move along here so I don't keep you all night. You'll be falling asleep on me if you haven't already. But like I said, catch the replay. If you have to cut out, I understand. Okay, so we have taking just little strips of your designer paper. This is where when you have those little half-inch strips, you can really do a lot with them. So you want some strips that are, I'm going to show you quickly what you need first before we put these together. You need 2 that are 3 3/4. So I'm just going to trim this down. So 2 strips that are 1/2 inch. I'm going to 1/2 inch over here because it's easier for me to hold the larger part with my left hand. And another one that's 1/2 inch. We need 2 that's that, and we'll decide which side we want to use later. They're going to be the same, whatever we decide, whichever side we decide. All right, then the others are going to be 4 1/4 by 1/2 inch. So I think I'm going to cut that 1 inch first. And then cut this way to 4 1/4. And then cut it in half. Okay, so we need 2 of those. This is for 1 card. And then we need 1 at 4 3/4. So again, 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut the 1/2 inch first. We'll use this one for something different. 3 different patterns. And it's 4 1/4. Aw, thanks for the hugs. Nope. No. 4 3/4. Sorry, the other one was 4 1/4. 4 3/4. This is going to be the longest one in the middle. Okay, so when you're stuck with all these little scraps, this is what you can do with it. I will use a colored card base for this. We are going to have the longest one in the middle, the shorter one, next shorter one on top, and the shortest one on the very top, and then same thing on the other side so that it is symmetrical. And you can make this vertical or horizontal card. Let me do this with, I'm going to do 1 card. I wonder if I should try this with the boho blue. That is another color. Yeah, let's try the boho blue. All right, haven't used that one yet, right? I'm going to go 5 1/2. This one just needs a little trim. And split 4 1/4 for our card base. And then I will use the same color for my layer. The layer that's already cut for that. Yeah, I could use that one. Or you could use a different color. That's okay too. So you'd want it to be 5 1/4. No. Yes. Yep, 5¼ by 4. Again, if you want to put speckles or emboss this, it would really look nice embossed. But I'm not going to take the time for embossing tonight. But my sample actually is embossed, so I will show you that. Okay, burnish your score lines. And I'm going to lay this out with that longer one in the middle, the next longest, and then the shortest one on bottom, and then repeat it above with, so it's a symmetrical design. Now here's where I like to use, I know you can't see way up here. Maybe I can move this back a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Kind of. Up here is 0 on my grid paper. So I'm going to line this middle one up at the 0 line. And make sure, since this is 4 inches wide, I'm lined up at 2 and 2. And I just center this one at 0. And then you decide how much space you want in between each one. But if this is at 2 and 2, I think it works for me that I have the edge here at 1 and the edge there at 1. That's all good. You can make these nice and even, or you can just do them all askew so it looks more random, like somebody tossed them down. That has a fun look too. I'm trying to match up the space here and here, trying to center it. All right, and then here, again, the edge is at the 1. Oops. And then the next one, I did make it a little different there, but that's okay. I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, sometimes I like doing it better this way. You can put them closer together if you like as well. On my sample, I have them closer together. Again, you can see the difference. More space, less space. It's up to you. Look how pretty that looks, right? Could be vertical or horizontal. I'm going to put this on with dimensionals to give that little, well, you know what? I'll put the sentiment on with dimensionals. I'll just glue this down. Oops. Thin beads of glue so it doesn't squirt out. And you know what? This one I'm going to do vertical because my sample's horizontal. That way you see a difference. So those are ways that you can just tweak up, change up your design a little bit. I'll make that one like that. And then I'm going to take one of these labels and I will stamp. Maybe I'll do that best person again. Or you know what? Maybe I'll take something from the layering leaves. I think Best Wishes would be nice and bold and fit on there. Let's see. Yep, I think that fits. Now let's hope I get it straight. Hey, calls for Night of Navy again. All right, keep your fingers crossed. Keep them crossed. Here we go. And let's see. Woo! Ta-da! Yay! Okay. Best Wishes there. And you know what? I'm going to use that bow punch. I think it looked nice to have some sprigs coming out there in garden green. To bring in more of the green again. Some of that down like that. And maybe one more sticking up there. Okay, I think that looks nice. Dimensionals. And then I can, I'll decide where I want those. I'm just going to trim off what I don't need. I could stick it under there. That'll work. And that'll work. And that'll work. Let me cut this guy off. Yep. Okay. Looks good. I can squeeze it in between the dimensionals. I'm all good to go. Otherwise, you can glue it to the back of your label before you put the dimensionals on. That works too. This one was going underneath. And I will definitely show you similar cards because we're running late here. Similar cards like the partner card to these that I didn't do two of tonight. Okay, just a little bit different version because that's what you can do once you have the layout or the design, and just tweak it up a little bit. I just love that bow punch, and I love that set. Ta-da! There you go. Nice. You like it? All right. And then, of course, I would put white on the inside there. So I will show you a partner card to this one later. We have just two more to do real quick. I'm going to do another door prize. We're going to randomly spin my comments here. I'm not going to look. I'm going to see where it stops. And that person will also win some DSP. And that is Barbara Reed. Congratulations, Barbara. Hey, Barbara, make sure that you contact me and we can decide what you like to choose from the DSP that I have to offer you. All right, so let me write that down. Okay, Barbara, R-E-A-D, Barbara Reed. So email me and give me your address and phone number. I need a pen. Here it is. Okay, I have a couple other Reeds, R-E-I-D, R-E-E-D. Popular last name, just different spellings. Okie dokie. Two more, guys. Hang in there. No, one more. Yeah, two more. Okay, so here's another idea to do with your strips. This is just building on this design here. Okay, you can make your strips go all the way to the top. These are even more narrow than 1/2 inch. Okay, maybe 3/8. You can have bigger strips and just put things over. So ways to use your strips. Okay, so just like I said, other designs that you can play around with. All right, and speaking of strips, you might have seen this. This is really kind of fun and easy. You can take your 1/2 inch strips, and I'm going to get maybe 4 different patterns if I can. Now the fruit might not work best with this this particular design, but you'll get the idea. You want 4 strips that are like I said, 1/2 inch. No, yeah, 1/2 inch by, make one 2 inches. I'm going to use this pattern over here as opposed to the fruit. Make another one. Well, you want random sizes, so make one 2.5 inches. Actually, I'll make 2.5, and 2. Does that make sense? 2. Right. Maybe the orange would look okay too. The small. Oh, we could use the little daisy pattern. You can keep this one all blue. Sort of monochromatic. Thanks for hanging in, guys. I appreciate it. I know it's kind of a long night, but hey, I just love sharing my ideas with you. So we'll make this one 2 inches as well. And we'll do another one that is 2.5 inches. Let's see, what other pattern can I use? No, I haven't used this big one, but maybe it can work. Let's see. Yeah, why not? We'll make this one 2.5. Okay, so then we want a layer. We're going to do a colored base, and we'll have random heights here. We'll do a colored base and then a white layer. So we need a white layer that's 3 3¾ by 5. 3¾ by 5. It's going to give us a larger border on our card base, which is going to, be like a simple look. Okay. And I'll move these. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'll show you the model in a little bit. This is going to be birthday. Okay, it's going to be birthday card. And so again, I guess best wishes would be a good thing to do, right? So let me grab that one. We're so happy to celebrate you. There we go. We'll do that again from Layering Leaves. So happy to celebrate you. Anybody have a birthday coming up soon? Mine's not till December. Hello, Melissa. I'm sorry I'm seeing everybody last minute here. Mary, hi. Carla. Okay, Night of Navy again. And we're stamping before we glue. Okay, little tipsy, but that's okay. We'll manage. And then these guys are going to be turned into candles. Have you ever done that before? We are going to trim the tops to look like burning candles. So I'm going to just cut this one a little bit on an angle that way. Maybe I don't want those two blue ones together, but oh well. I want them different heights because candles can burn at different levels, right? Some you could do a little dip like that. That can stay plain, I suppose. And then maybe this one we can dip the other way. Okay, and those are going to get glued down. And then we'll need a black marker and a yellow marker. So black for the wick and yellow for the flame. Has anybody done candles like this before? I finally get to the end of my comment. See what's what everybody's doing here. Oh, will you record my coloring? Oh, okay, I'm glad I did some of that. I know it takes a little while. I don't always. I like to show it a little bit too. But sometimes it just takes not too much time. I think maybe I should make this one a little bit crooked. A little bit different heights, each one a little bit different. Okay, let me get my markers. Black and Daffodil Delight. I'm gonna make a little wick. And we're gonna make a little flame. This one can be bigger, right? Okay, we got candles. Voila. Oh, I've got a smudge there too. Sheesh. Oh, well, I'll have to cover that up with something. All right, then we could put that on a base. We haven't used Balmy Blue yet. Maybe that would work because there was Balmy Blue in there. Actually, let's do white with not just the base. That's all we need because this is our white. All right, cut that in half. 5 1/2. 4 1/4. So, guys, there's also a great join offer happening this month for Stampin' Up. This is one of the best join offers that I think they've ever done. If you love the new in colors, then this is definitely for you. There has been a lot of people are just loving the in colors. It's the offer to join Stampin' Up. The starter kit is always $99. And for that $99, you get $125 worth of product that you get to choose. Okay, it isn't like Stampin' Up says, here's our set starter kit, and whatever's in there you're stuck with. Maybe you already have a red ink pad or a black ink pad or certain things. You get to choose the product you like for $125. And then you also get business supplies. You get a free paper pumpkin kit, and it includes shipping. The special offer is for all of the new color ink pads, an assortment of paper, the in color 6x6 designer paper, which looks like this. Okay, pack of all the colors in there, and set of the markers for a total of $82 for free. That's added onto your starter kit. So that is over $200 worth of stuff for $99, including the free shipping and the paper pumpkin kit and just all the benefits of being a demonstrator. You get 20% off your orders. You have the chance to potentially start a business if you want to, get some customers to help offset your minimum. Minimum is not too drastic. And it is, you have a chance to increase to 25% as well. So it is just a fabulous offer. If you've ever even considered maybe being a demonstrator, then you certainly consider it at this point because that offer is just terrific. I had one of my downlines say today, I almost wish I could drop and rejoin again just for that offer. Right? I'm not going to say who it is, but anyway, it's just it's a super super offer. And so there's our candle card, and then I have just one more quick one to show you. Hang in there, we're almost done. All right, I know we're on here 2 hours. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Oh, here's the candle card that was my sample. We used all different colors, and of course, putting some bling on there to make it shine is going to help. And I will have to cover that up with something. I don't know, maybe put a ribbon across. We'll figure it out. Oh, here's the other card. I don't think I showed you this one that matches up with this. All right, so here's the vertical version and the horizontal version. Okay, so different ideas there. All right, last one. Here we go. Card number 20. Woo! Card number 20. All right, so this one can be done in a couple of ways as well. Well, that's the beauty of any of these. You can tweak it up. Here was my original. And so this was vanilla on vanilla. The vanilla layer is embossed with, I think it's called Timeless Type or something like that. And the DSP makes these little banners tied with twine, your label, and this was fussy cut from designer paper, which I didn't even bother coloring. I left it just the black and white sketch so that it stood out among here. Here's one that I did with newer products with the Latte Love, a little latte designer paper. And I used, instead of the white the cardstock background, I used this little coffee stained DSP with designer paper, and then this one cardstock for the two banners. And then these, I use the dies to cut out of the DSP. So that's my focal point there. A little sentiment can go across over here. I just didn't get to do that, but I'm not sure quite yet what I'd use that card for. So it's nice to kind of leave it be for the moment. But maybe one of these little tags could look nice up there, or just kind of over here. Just something on there like that. It'd be fun. All right, so let's use our Mediterranean blooms one last time and see what we can come up with. Like I said, I'm kind of making this work as we go along today, guys. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you get some nice ideas. I hope you're inspired, and I hope you share some of the things that you see here today. All right, so let's use our white card base one more time. And decide if we want to use, well, you know what? There's one pattern here I know I haven't used yet. And that's the one with the very tiny, yeah, here it is. The very tiny flowers on it. So let's make sure we use that today. The banners, the little banner tags that we're going to make are 1 and, I have my cheat sheet here, 1.5 wide by 4.25. So we're going to cut it down to make that little banner end, but we'll make it 4.25 to start with. Then we can make them different sizes. So 1.5 wide. So I can hold my paper over here and measure right to the edge here for 1.5. Again, doesn't have to be exact. You can make them a little wider, narrow. You can make one more narrow than the other if you like. All good. What's the other side of this? I don't like those together. So I'll have to pick something else. 4.25. All right, so that's going to be one of my banners. And we'll put a layer under there as well. And you know what? I can't help but love the daisies. I'm going to do the daisies with that. There's a piece that's big enough. Yep. I'm just cutting this paper all up tonight. I'm diving right in. Okay, so 1.5 by 4.25. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just, oops, close, and then you can tweak it from there. All right, so I think what I would love is, I really, really think this one deserves some nice embossing, which I'm not going to take the time to do right now, but I really want to do this one with some embossing. So I'm just going to show you with the plain paper at the moment. So to cut your banner on the bottom, find the middle. Okay, so that's going to be 3/4 on each side. And I will just cut a slit right in the middle. No, maybe up about 1/2 inch or whatever, or 1/4 inch rather. And then cut from the corner to the middle. So you have that little edge there. And cut from this corner to the middle up there. And then you have your banner cut. If you want the other one to be exactly the same, doesn't have to be, just line them up, and then you can mimic the same cut on the other paper as well. Again, it doesn't have to be. It could be totally different banners. Decide which one you want on top. Decide which direction you want them. I think I'm going to layer them this way. Before I had the left one higher and the other one in front. I think I'm going to make the right one higher this time. Okay, just for something different. And then we can make a little label for that. So again, I'm not going to put it all together right now, but I do want to show you what it might all look like. I think I'll take, I don't know, which one should I do? The scallop or the plain? Let's do the scallop. It takes up a little bit more room. It'll be good. All right. And I will stamp. Last one for the night. Maybe Thinking of You. That's another one I like to send a lot. It could be for anything. It could be for thinking of you at your birthday, thinking of you because maybe you're not feeling well, or it could be just thinking of you because I haven't heard from you for a while. It could be a sympathy card, thinking of you, this difficult time, or whatever. Okay. Can't help but use the Night of Navy again. All right, let's put that there. Not too bad. Little tiny something I'm not going to tell. I get a little picky sometimes. All right. Get my embellishments. And I would pop this up with dimensionals. How could you not? Right? Be careful with your darker colors. Let them dry like a second or two more, because sometimes, especially if you just inked up your pads, then you might smudge it a little bit. Okay, and I would put some some embellishments on here. Let's use the blue. I'm a blue person. I love it. 1, 2, 3. A little rough around the edges. All right, let's tuck that in. All right, so I think that will just look lovely once I emboss that layer there. So again, so simple, just different ways to use your strips. And I will get these all put together for you. While I'm just kind of bringing everything back here, anybody have a question about joining? Okay, anybody about being a demonstrator? Does anybody have a question? Question for me? Anything that you might want to know? Oh, thanks for vintage chick. Nice. Yep, that's Barbara. That's my Barbara. Thank you. Thanks, Elizabeth. Um, a lot of my team members are on. They're really enjoying being demonstrators. They're enjoying their discount. They're enjoying sharing the love of stamping with some of their friends and family. So it really it's a wonderful thing to share. We have team meetings and we get to share our projects with each other. A few of my demonstrators are close by, and some make a 3-hour drive to visit me. Right, Elizabeth? That was fun. She came to visit me. I loved it. Loved it. Right, let's see if I can get some of these out here, and we can just do a quick little wrap up. All right. Oh, look at this stack of cards. Love them. Love them. Love them. All right. This wasn't all glued together, but you get the idea right there. And we have that one. See if I can get most of them in here. I will take pictures, individual pictures of all of these, and you'll see them up on Facebook and eventually on my blog too. All right. So there we go there. And then we have these. And we had these way back. Seems like yesterday, right? I appreciate you guys hanging in with me. And we started off with these. But look at all these cards. Oh my gosh. My goodness gracious. So I'm going to do 2 more door prizes. And then remember also, if you place an order with me, that's $50 or more by tomorrow night, you will get another gift from me as well. And you get free shipping with orders over 75. If you have an order that is under $150, please use this host code that I just put up on the bottom of your screen. It helps me out a lot, and that's why I'm able to order some extra things to use as prizes and giveaways. So that's the May host code there. If your order is $150 or more, then you will earn host rewards that you can spend on yourself. Okay. So if you have any question about that, reach out to me. Let me know. If you don't have a demonstrator and you would like to order, if you'd like a catalog, let me know that too. I'd be happy to send you one or happy to give you a call and we can talk about, how you might want to proceed with starting your stamping. My online store is Lorraine Sich, CICH .stampitup.net. And you can go there and order straight from there without having to go to stampitup.com and then choosing me as a demonstrator and whatever. So that takes you right to my store, and that makes it a little bit easier that way. So I hope everybody had a good night. Thank you, those who hung in all that time. Please watch the replay. And if you have any questions, please reach out again. And I really am blessed to have so many stamping friends near and far. And like I said, I just feel so like I have tears in my eyes. It's just so much fun to know that we're sharing our love of our stamping. And I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you again, hopefully on Friday. I might have another plan, but I think I'm going to be on Friday morning for Coffee to Card. So hang in there, guys. Thank you so much. And post your projects, okay? All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye now.